hello, and welcome everybody to Conversations with Christian Leaders. I am your host, Dr. Aljoe, and welcome to our new series, a brand new series. It is on marriage and entrepreneurship. I am so excited and so happy to be talking with these couples on tonight and throughout the rest of this series. So, as we always do, if you are watching this live on Facebook, I need you to go ahead and hit some hearts. I need you to hit the thumbs up sign. I need you to like and share this with all of your friends, all of the wonderful people that you have and that you're connected with on Facebook, because tonight's conversation, we are going to really dig into some good topics that are hopefully helpful for those of you who may be entrepreneurs, who might be also married, might be thinking of entrepreneurship, or might be thinking about getting married. So there's all sorts of goodies in the conversation on tonight. So again, I am your host, Dr. Aljoe, and we are live with Dig Deep Conversations with Christian Leaders. All right, I am going to get right into it. I'm going to bring our guest on. They are no strangers to the show. I have had actually both husband and wife on at least a number of times. Hey, Pastor Joe Pullen, God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's my pastor, y'all. Okay, all right, focus. Here we go. So both of these folks have been on the show a number of times before, so they are no strangers to Dig Deep Conversations with Christian Leaders. But tonight, I actually have them together for the very first time. So I had Pastor Gaskins on talking about seeking Ruth, right, and talking about what men look for in Christian relationships and in a godly wife, that sort of thing. And then I had his wife, First Lady Gaskins, come on and say, hey, Beverly Carter, hey, Miss Bev, and Bishop Black, hello, you all. Thanks for tuning in. I actually had his wife, First Lady Gaskins, on as well, talking about preparing for Boaz and talking about what it means to be, preparing to be married and preparing to, sometimes being a first lady. Some of us, don't want that calling or don't want to accept that calling, but that might be the calling that God has on our lives. And we really had a great conversation about what that means. So I'm excited to bring them both here on tonight at the same time. Let's bring the Gaskins into the studio. Everybody say hello to the Gaskins.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
I love it. Good evening, everybody. I love it. All right, let's do some quick introductions for those that do not know you. Let me see here. So if you all could just give me a little bit about how long you've been married. First Lady Gaskins, I know that you have your own business. So if you could tell us just a little bit about how long you've had a business, what your business is. And then if you both could tell us just one quick favorite thing about your partner.
You go first.
Oh,
you don't want to answer?
No, she asked some specific questions.
Oh,
okay. Let you go.
So we have been married for 11 years, and we've been together for 14.
Oh my God.
Yes, forever. We got married our early 20s, so we took each other's 20s away. I have been a business owner for the past year. I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary in February. So, yeah, my business is the Creative Market. And what I do is a little bit of everything. I do graphic design, logo design, websites, rebranding, social media management. I do a little bit of everything. So that's what the Creative Market is.
Awesome. Happy 1-year anniversary to the Creative Market.
Thank you.
Love it. Love to see it. She does some great work. And
Thank
now,
you.
Pastor Gaskins, tell me one favorite thing about your partner.
She's my wife.
Good answer, everybody. Good answer. Good answer.
Great job.
First Lady Gaskins, what about you? What's your favorite thing about Tyron?
His humor. His humor. He's actually very funny. A lot of people don't get to see that, but he's hilarious.
Don't let that get out.
No, you're funny.
Don't let that get out, though.
No, they don't know that.
Yeah, I don't want
right. No, it's fine.
People will disregard. We'll strike that from the record.
Yeah, but I fell in love with his humor.
I love that.
How we first started dating. We told jokes. That's literally how it happened.
I love that. It's, what better way to do life than with somebody who makes you laugh, right?
Right,
No,
right.
I love that. Love that. Love that. Well, thank you, Gaskins. Welcome again officially. And our next couple, again, this couple is no stranger to the show. We have the Moores on tonight. I absolutely love this couple. They're young. They are brand new parents to another little baby boy. So they have two little ones. And I am just so thrilled. Here they are on the screen. Let's say hi to the Moores.
Hello.
Hi.
Moores.
Hello.
Look, they're like all like you all, if you're listening to this on the podcast, they've got like, they're all podcasted out. They've got like their microphones, the headphones going. It's so official. I absolutely love it.
It's all Abram. I came in on my oh, okay. I thought we were just gonna, be chilling on the laptop, but
we kind of had to be. Thanks to my mother, Elder Moore, who was watching the children. They have spurts of being very loud, so we had to make sure that did not disrupt the show at all. So I took the time to make sure the show was not ruined by just random screaming. So
no, I really, really, truly appreciate it. Thank you all again so much for being on today. So let me ask you again the same questions. How long have you been married? With this couple, Abram is the entrepreneur. So Abram, just tell us quickly about your business, and then for each of you, what are your favorite things about each other? So how long have you been married, your business, and then your favorite thing about your partner?
We'll go back and forth. You've been married for?
July will be 7 years, so we don't know where the time went. And also we got married in our early 20s as well, so a common theme there.
And as for the work I do, we actually do very similar work. I started off as a photographer, and then I self-taught graphic design, web design, and I've since expanded to actually, to God be the glory, working with actually subcontractors under me. And we focus on visual storytelling, branding, and experiential marketing as well. Okay. And we're sort of like in this very hectic, I can't believe this is happening, growth phase right now. So to God be the glory for that. So that's what I do.
We give God high praise. I love it. Listen, last time the Moores were on here, the conversation was so good. I think at one point, Abram pulled out a toy keyboard and Monica grabbed the tambourine, and we almost went to church. Just saying, you don't know what's going to happen on the show tonight, because I know both of these couples love them some God and love praising God. And listen, First Lady is a songstress and a worshiper. So, I don't know. We might run revival on tonight. Who knows? Let's get into the conversation. All right. So tonight we're talking about marriage and entrepreneurship. Both, to me, both facets, both things that are sort of incredibly challenging. And I'm starting to see a lot more people in our generation doing sort of the entrepreneurship thing, right? They're walking away from their 9-to-5, or sometimes keeping the 9-to-5 and focusing on what people like to call the side hustle. I want to talk, my first question is, what has been the biggest challenge of being an entrepreneur and also being married? So you all have had some time sort of being with your partners. You all have been together for a little bit of time. But can you just talk to us tonight about what's the biggest challenge of being an entrepreneur, and then also being an entrepreneur and being married? So let's start with the Gaskins first.
Well, the biggest challenge, I think, is time management. Luckily, we have a flow, a little bit of a balance over here. So I am a stay-at-home mother as well. So luckily during the day, I'm able to get as much work as I can done with a toddler, but I'm able to get work done and, be able to put everything away by the time he's home from work and everything. But I really do believe it's time management. It's when I have a client or something has to be done within a certain amount of time, within 24 hours, he's very, very understanding. To a certain extent, he, wants me to stop working and not, focus so much on what I'm doing at that moment. But for the most part, I believe it is time management, just trying to get the balance of it, because I am a wife and a mom. So I need to make sure that my husband is okay, my children are good, and then I usually go back to work. So it's very up and down during the day. Very much. But he's been supportive, very supportive.
Monica, I want to jump to you really quick because Cassandra, you brought up a really good point there. You're also a mother, you all are parents of a toddler as well. And so Monica, you all have little Teddy and, the baby boy that was just born as well. So can you, Monica, just shed some light on what your thoughts are as far as time management is concerned? Because you're sort of on the other end of things where you're supporting sort of Abram in his entrepreneurship efforts while it's Cassandra who's doing sort of the entrepreneurship piece.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point that you brought up too with time management, because at the end of the day, our families are more important than work. The work brings in the money to take care of our families, but sometimes we get so consumed in it that we just have to, God has to bring something to our attention so we can step back and realize like how much time we were putting into work. So being on the other end of it. So I actually work remotely. I'm in a 9 to 5 and Abram is the entrepreneur. And so what I have to be mindful of is just because I'm at the 9 to 5 doesn't mean that when he's home, he's there to be, a nanny and watching the kids. So it's that splitting that time up, taking the kids so he can work during the day too. And then when I have a meeting, he takes them as well. So just having that balance and understanding that just because he's not reporting to, a corporate world, that he doesn't have anything to do during the day. So finding that balance, and we're fortunate that I am working remotely. But I always do have to remind myself of that. And I like how, First Lady Gaskin, you put your computer away by the time your husband is home. Because and if I'm being completely honest, I was a few days from giving birth, and there I was on my laptop working 2 a.m. in the morning. So while I was on
That's right, Pastor
maternity
Gaskin.
leave,
I forgot y'all can see me. I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's the same.
So I woke up the next morning, and then Abram was like, "What were you doing downstairs?" Like, I looked at the clock and it was 2 a.m. and you weren't in bed. I was like, "Oh, I was processing a transaction, getting that overtime." And at that point, about to go give birth in a few days. And I really didn't understand like the impact it was having on my family until I got to be on maternity leave. And spend that time with my family. And I realized I was giving so much more into my work than I was into my family. And at times, honestly, I was being selfish about it because I was like, "Oh, I'm the one working the 9 to 5. Like, here, Abram, you can, you're going to be watching the kids." But really, God gave me a time to sit back and reflect that, he has his own business and he needs time as well. And I need to make time for my family because they're their priority.
Right. So you talked about that balance with, you have the 9 to 5. So I think sometimes it's a little bit easier for us, because I work a 9 to 5 as well. Literally, I go in at 9 unless I'm late. Don't tell on me. And I work until 5. And, I think sometimes it's hard for us that are not full-time entrepreneurs to think like, well, Abram's an entrepreneur, so he has time to do XYZ, or Cassandra's an entrepreneur. She's, a working mother. She works and takes care of the home during the day. She has time to do XYZ. So, Pastor Gaskins, I want to ask your opinion on sort of working the 9 to 5 and figuring out that good balance, because you also sort of hold down the 9 to 5, but you're also a pastor as well, which has its own sort of, it's never ending. There's no stopping that. So can you talk to me a little bit about how you find balance in working a 9 to 5 and supporting Cassandra?
My balance comes from Cassandra first and foremost. My balance comes from Cassandra, meaning I'm a pastor, but I'm a pastor of a church that we founded. So it's not a business, but it's some of the same roles as entrepreneurship.
Yes.
It's some of the same kind of things. And you're consistently, and one thing I've learned is the more the church grows, the more time and attention it needs. You would think that, the larger church is, the more it would run like a well-oiled machine.
Right.
Nah. The more people that come through that door, the more hands you need on deck. And so my balance comes from Cassandra, because I work Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5. Friday, supposed to be 8 to 5, but Friday I leave out early. I tell on myself. I do it every week. I've been doing it for the last 6 years. Friday around 12 o'clock, I'll be like, all right, y'all. But my balance comes from Cassandra. And you know, she said it very gracefully. When by the time I get home, she puts her laptop away. Well, she's being humble, because the truth is, by the time I get home, she has to put her laptop away, because either we have Bible class, or we have a meeting, or I'm going somewhere and I need her. I never take a meeting, for instance, I never take a private meeting as a pastor without my wife.
Right,
So,
right.
So there's always different things that are going on that she never asked for, but she's required to be a part of. And so it's very easy for me, coming from the background of having started the church, when she was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to step out. I'm going to start this business. All right. So now I have an understanding of what I may normally consider free time. I know that's free time. And so, you know, that's just how I look at it. It was easy for me. If she says, you know, I have to get this done by tonight, babe, I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm not gonna hide your hair from you tonight. I'm gonna let you go and do your job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What? I ain't gonna hide it.
But
it's because I understand that my phone goes off all the time. And now with her being an entrepreneur, thank God her business is growing.
Right.
It's a one-woman show right now.
Right.
So the more people that get interested in her business, they're contacting her directly. So now I can't even be mad at her anymore for getting upset with me when my phone goes off. My phone's gone off 3 times since we've been on.
Right.
I can't get mad at her for that, for getting mad at me for that anymore, because now I understand. It's like, okay, that's what it is.
Right. And I love that, you know, to me, it seems like both of you all, as couples, have a really healthy balance. You are sort of living in, I don't want to call it a routine, but almost an understanding, right? Like you have this, you know, okay, I know that I go to work and, you know, this is my time. And then like when I come home, okay, laptop is closed. Then we shift into focusing on ministry work. And so the Moores as well, they also sort of work in ministry. Which leads me to my next question about business growth, because, you know, Abram, you mentioned that your business is just taking off, which is very exciting to hear, that your business is taking off, and Cassandra, your business is taking off. And so how do you all manage or sort of navigate through growing your business, right? It's growing at a rate that might be a lot faster and a lot quicker than what you would have intended. How do you help to delegate different tasks that you have to do to others, so that way you aren't completely sort of bogged down by sort of the ins and outs of the everyday? You know, Pastor Gaskins, you mentioned about there's different things that, you know, she has to get done, but she might not always have the time to do that as your ministry is also growing. So how do you navigate growing your business? So Abram, let's start with you.
When it comes to growing the business, it's going to be such a church boy answer, but it really, I already know. Okay. I'm like ready to say it. I'm like, oh, but no, it really does start with, see, I never really went into business for it to stay small. It was always with the intention that it would grow, that it would have to be a business and a structure that would be scalable. So it started with, Lord, a prayer: when the business grows, send me people that I can trust, that I can delegate things to. And that's where it's at. I actually worked with other people that were very micromanaging because they really couldn't let things go. And it was their business suffered for it. because they had to have their hands in everything.
Mm.
Understanding that clients pay the company not necessarily because my hands are on it, but because of my mind and the strategy behind the execution, and working with people that I can trust to do the work to my specifications, but also find people that have their own vision that could enhance things working collaboratively. That's what it was, the prayer for God to send me those people. So how do I navigate growing the business? It starts with prayer. Lord, send me the right people that I can trust to help my business grow and scale.
Right. Cassandra, let's go to you with that same question. How do you navigate? And Tina, I see your question in the comments, so I'm going to go there next. But Cassandra, let's go to you. How do you navigate growing your business?
I have to, excuse me, piggyback off of Moore. He said it perfectly. I prayed. And in the beginning of this year, when I realized that I was going to hit a year of running my company, I'm like, Lord, I need this business to run itself. And that's where my mindset has been. Lord, you're going to help me run this business myself, run this business by itself. And it just seems like it just took off. I have been literally mind blown at how many phone calls and how many referrals and everything that I have gotten, and navigating it again because I am at home. I literally have to structure my day. So I'm homeschooling our toddler. I'm also working, and I'm also, making sure that my home is prepared for my children and my husband. So it literally is a lot of prayer and structure. My time is not, my days are very structured. For example, with our daughter, she's 4, and from 9 to 11, we're doing homeschool. We're doing some homeschool stuff. And then for the majority of the afternoon, that's a quiet time. I can get a lot of work done. My son comes home at 3 o'clock. That's homework time. And then by that time, I'm starting dinner and then still working in the middle of that. Another example, unfortunately, my husband just lost his grandfather. I had to do work for that. I actually had to do the publications and do the program. And both of us were up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, making sure that that was done. But we had a level of understanding. Okay, we're going to tackle this, and then we're going to come together and work on this project. So a lot of, again, time management, prayer, structure, because I need structure. I need to be able to, okay, from 12 to 2, this is what I'm going to do. Structured fun. But yeah, that it's a lot of prayer, time management, and structure.
Right. So what I'm hearing from both comments thus far is the structure, which is definitely me. I block out times on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, I'm not doing it. I won't be there. I heard delegate from Abram. It's so important to make sure that you, not only that you have the ability to delegate and the skill to delegate, but also that you trust the people that you're delegating to. And then I heard, Cassandra, in your comment, strategizing together. So for both of you, you and your partners coming together and, okay, this is what we have on our plates. This is what we have coming up. How are we going to tackle this? How are we going to make sure that, the things that we need to get done are being done? So Tina has a question in the comment section where it says, what about the activities and appointments, et cetera, for your children? So both couples have 2 children. So now, baby boy is just born. He's not doing sports or anything like just that yet, but how do you navigate that? And I think some of the answers you've already given, you strategize together. If one of your children has a parent-teacher conference and, Pastor Gaskins has a meeting, and then, okay, so Cassandra's able to make it, and, maybe we can push the meeting back, or figuring out how to do that. Time management is huge. And then, of course, the biggest and probably most important thing on this list of tips here is prayer. Praying and going to God about, okay, this is what I need for my business, or Lord, show me what I need. Send me people that I need. Send me people that I know are going to be trustworthy and help take this to the next level. Anything Moors, anything that you would like, any more that you would like to add?
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
That was witty. That was witty.
Not particularly from me right now, with the addition of August, who's just born and has appointments at the Woo-Ha because he's just born, so all those appointments back to back and stuff, and he's a big crier. We used to, I like a First Lady Gaskins, I'm very structured because, and the thing about it, I will touch on this. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to be structured.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have, you're just gonna be sitting around. You're gonna find yourself idle because you're not gonna have a plan. It's kind of good when you have things that kind of set your day going. Right now, with the kids and activities and keeping Teddy busy and then taking care of him, and right now the schedule's kind of blown up right now, so it is just blown all the way up.
He seems so uncomfortable.
Yeah, when I think about it, I'm like waiting for him to cry.
With the level of not playing.
It's like his anxiety is like growing like as he's
Exactly.
And the plan. Where's the plan? Sorry, Monica, I think you were starting to say something.
Yeah, we're kind of starting to get into a rhythm. So this is my third week back at work. And so Abram, he works best in the mornings. That's when he's the most creative. So this kind of towards the end of last week, we started establishing some routine where I take them in the mornings. And the past few days, he's actually been taking both of them on a drive towards the latter part of the day. So I get like a long stretch of work done. So it is kind of, uncomfortable, but it's like, as we get into the groove of it, teamwork makes the dream work, the cliche saying, the routine is starting to establish itself. And it feels so good to, to get those few hours kid free as well, because as you know, too, First Lady Gaskin, trying to work and be home with a toddler, it's like our minds become so overstimulated with everything, and it's so overwhelming. So just having that teamwork of getting a few hours, kid free, it does a lot for your mind, and honestly has helped me love my children even more.
Like I'll wake up, because that's the pattern. It's been kind of funny you say that, because that's been the pattern lately. I wake up earlier now. I start my day earlier while they're still asleep. Then I wake up. If no one knows this, I'm a big coffee person. So then, certain time, I make the coffee. It's all set. She wakes up, coffee every day. Bang. Continue my day. Our daughter sleeps in kind of late. Then I most likely lately I've been making lunch, and then after lunch, that's kind of like when my creative day kind of stops. But then I kind of focus on like the kids, and then while I'm on my drive, they fall asleep, and I take my calls on the drive because I'm my earbuds. So all the calls I need to take, I schedule after 1 o'clock, and then I just and then by the time we get back, she's had a good 2 to 3 hours of solid work done, and then after that, the plan's done. Then it's just now I'm uncomfortable again because I'm out of tricks. But that's working so far. We're getting there.
And I think and that's why I said Cassandra is my balance, because we're the exact opposite. I am not a planner. I am very spontaneous. I am very, I'm that, and like everybody around me is very uncomfortable because, like, in church, I'm that pastor that will get up and read a text and then look at one of the preachers and say, "Hey, you're preaching. I just wanted to read this text."
Nope, my heart just dropped. Nope.
I'm very, I really am. Like Elder Frazier's on Tina is on, like, she knows I will walk into that's because she knows I'll walk into church and be like, "You're preaching today." I'll come home and I'll be like, "Hey, pack a bag. We're going to Jersey," like for no reason. Like, I'm very sporadic.
It's terrible.
It's nails to a chalkboard to her. It's but to your point though, because I am that way, I had to get me, even in the church, I had to get me to prove your point, Elder Moore. I had to get in my church a group of people who are not like me to be my administration. Because while I'm spitting out vision and I'm saying, okay, this is what we want to do. Da 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 da. I'm spitting it out. I got Cassandra, my brother Tyler, and Elder Frazier, who's on. Those three, they're the ones in the background saying, okay,
hold on, player.
This is how we get there.
Wait a minute.
So to your point, because you made the point about, you have to be an entrepreneur and to be to launch a business and grow a business, you have to be planned out like that. You're absolutely right. And if you're not someone who is like that, like me, then you need to be wise enough to keep folk around you. You definitely are.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So I want to shift gears a little bit here and ask this question because I think it's really important as we were talking about delegating work, as we're talking about strategizing vision, and people who are able to execute the vision. It's so important to have all types of people who sort of can be around you and help lead you and guide you on this entrepreneurship journey. But on that journey, sometimes there will be financial challenges. And so I think we know that financial challenges is probably one of the biggest reasons why people get divorced for years now. We're talking about the money stuff, folks. So if each of you all, as a couple, can share 3 tips on how to juggle necessary financial sacrifices for the vision or business. So I'm going to start with the Moores first. If you could share 3 tips on how to juggle necessary financial sacrifices for your vision or for the business.
You want to kick it out?
Sure. All right. So we were talking about this before, and not for any reason of overachieving or anything, but real quick, we'll be fast with it. We do have 5. Okay. And these are 5 things that we're just going to be really transparent. We did not do that we ended up doing later, and we had to scramble to kind of like start doing it. That if you're going to start on the journey, you should start with this. These things first to be aware of. So one of them, if so we're talking about married couples too. So if you're married or you want to be married, but right now you're both working and you're thinking about going out on your own, see if you can find a way to actually generate passive income first while you have a consistent income. So then when you go out to do your own thing, there's something else working for you in the background, whether that be a quick e-commerce website, something stock related. If you do have the capital to do it on investment property, real estate, absolutely fantastic thing to kind of set up something else in the background working. Oh, we got a question. Passive income. What is that? Passive income is money that is generating and coming to you that you're not actively have to put in working hours for. So a real estate investment property, or say you have a 2-family home that's generating, you have 2 tenants in the property, and then the amount of the mortgage is $1,500, but it's multifamily. So you have $3,000 coming in. You're going to have $1,500 over. You're going to take $500, put that in savings, and the thousands for you to do whatever you want to do. That's passive income. Finding ways to generate passive income before jumping out and doing your own would be fantastic, because once you're out there, you're out there. You're like, Peter, help! Like, that's the situation. So that's one, and I went far longer than I was supposed to go on that. Go quick, 2.
Yeah, and then so we actually have them written down because we were chit-chatting about it before. Okay, so creating a financial plan and cut back in unnecessary things. So we were probably spending, like back then, like a good chunk of our money on eating out. And eating out was not generating wealth for us. It was just going through our digestive tract, where we could have been really saving that money that we were using on eating out to put towards things that could bring passive income, or to purchase things that could generate wealth for us. So again, things we did not do. Delete DoorDash.
Delete DoorDash. Just get rid of DoorDash. Make your food.
DoorDash is not a sponsor of this conversation. So thank you very much. Okay, please continue.
That goes into the third thing, which is focus spending your money on things that generate wealth for you, which is sort of like a passive income comment, but also what you said. Spending money on going out to eat often. I'm a big foodie, so it was an issue for me to have to cut back on that. But I'll give you an example. And she didn't know I was doing this. When I first started specifically with video and visuals, photography, I was always looking for the newest gear. Like, oh, I need this lens, I need this camera, and it got to a certain point that I had everything I needed. So from that point, I said, I would not buy something if the cost of it, if it will not generate 5 times its value in the next 2 months, I will not buy it. There's no point in me having it. So if it was $300, if I'm not going to make $1,500 from the use of that tool, because all they are is tools. They're tools you utilize in order to make greater things. If it does not generate, if that specific thing does not generate 5 times its value in 2 months, I wasn't buying it. So that automatically was a rule I created to cut back on just frivolous spending on gear and whatnot.
Yeah. And then, so we made it short. It was supposed to be short. So we also said thinking about retirement. So when you're in a 9-to-5, you have a 401k option, right? You can just opt to do it, and every 2 weeks or every week, it's just coming out of your paycheck. Your employer might be matching it as well. But for Abram's case, where he's an entrepreneur, he has to be thinking about that himself to setting up the independent retirement account. So definitely something to think about. And something that you shouldn't sacrifice is really just thinking about your retirement, especially when you're your own boss. So that's the fourth item.
And last and not least, also life insurance policies. Now, we're thinking about retirement and we're thinking about death, but we're not thinking about death for one specific reason. Did you know that life insurance policies, if you get them early enough, you can actually take money out of the policy in order for certain things? For instance, I used to work at Northwestern Mutual, and there would be these very wealthy people that have had life insurance policies. They put life insurance policies on their children the day they're born, life insurance policy. And then what happens when they go to college, they can cash out against that life insurance policy. And there are people that were able to pay for their children's way through college because of their life insurance policy. Wow. So these are just little tidbits. I know it asks for 3 and 5, but these are just little nuggets that we learned along the way that if we knew beforehand, we would start doing right away before you start on the entrepreneurial journey.
No, I love, wow, that was just, I'm trying to like take notes for myself, take notes for the audience, like, okay, need to do the following things. So if it doesn't generate, you said 5 times the cost of the product?
Yeah, 5 times. That was a me personally thing. It was 5 times.
Was it 3 months or 2 months?
For me, it was 2 months because I was.
Got it.
For me, it was 5 times in 2 months because I was I was buying a lot of stuff. So I was like, this has to really be worth it for me from this point because all the key things I had. So if this tool wasn't going to generate 5 times of what I bought it for in 2 months, I wasn't buying it.
So what I'm hearing is I should not be buying shoes if in 2 months it won't generate 5 times the, okay, all right, so I can't buy shoes. Got it.
Unless apparently, and I'm not in the sneaker game, but some shoes do appreciate. So I don't know what kind of shoes you're talking about.
That part.
That might be, I don't want to complete, whoever's listening, that might be true for you. So I don't know.
And if you have, I would even interject and say, because you all talked about retirement, you talked about life insurance. I would encourage you to get a financial advisor. I've had one for the last, few years, and it has been incredibly helpful. We sat down and we talked about, how much money I wanted to be making after I retired. And he put a whole plan, a whole portfolio together for me. And he's like, okay, this is what we need to start doing. And I got serious about it. You're absolutely right. I took out extra life insurance. I put in more in my retirement. I'm trying to live on the beach and retire early. Like, I don't want to work my 9 to 5 all the days of my life. So let's go to the Gaskins. Gaskins, if you all could share 3 tips on how to juggle necessary financial sacrifices for the vision or the business.
So ours will not be as deep and elaborate as the Morse. Because we just don't. Number 1, go get you some sneakers because they do appreciate. Okay. You became my spirit animal the other day when you posted that post about I want to buy sneakers, but then I get mad because I don't want to wear them. I promise you, my closet upstairs is a testimony to what I'm mad she put it up there. One, go get some sneakers.
Listen, shout out to my tech support, my sister Justine holding it down. Shout out to tech.
Don't give us
But
niggas.
that's
No.
true though. These sneakers, people pay so much.
It
money
is
for
true.
these
No, but they
sneakers.
do though.
It's a
And
market.
the problem is I be wanting to wear them. But
Right.
as soon as I wear them, they don't appreciate no more.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
But anyways,
Okay.
in all seriousness, the first thing is what we had to do, and I'm just gonna say it real plain. Number one, there's no secret money.
Yes.
Talk
There's
about
no
that.
secret money. There's no I got $5 left for gas, and she comes out of nowhere with a, oh, here's a 50. No. Because we need to understand, if we're going to, number one, if we're going to trust each other to the point where
He got you.
he did.
Yeah, he got you.
He did.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, if we're going to trust each other enough to the point where I'm going to lean on her, like for real, I'm going to lean on her.
Yeah.
That means I have to be honest with her.
True.
And if I get to the point where we're being dishonest about money,
Mhm.
about money, now, if you can lie to me about money, you can lie to me about anything.
Yep.
Point blank, period. So the first thing, no secret money. When we first got married, we had somebody, and I'm not gonna call no names, but we had somebody, they came to us and they said, now baby, when y'all get married, she keep her money over here and you keep your money over there. And what ended up happening was we started to be competitors. It made us competitors. It didn't make us a unified couple. It didn't make us together. It made us competitors, because now it's a, well, I can't afford this. Oh, but I can. It became one of those things. So now, you know, she going to the restaurant and I'm eating a burger and she's eating a steak because, you know, she had secret money. No, I'm playing. No secret money. The second thing that we had to do is we had to be real about where we are and where we wanted to go. When we first got together, we were not in any financial position to start a church. I didn't want to do it back then, but at that point, we would not have been able to. And even when the Lord gave me the vision, I couldn't jump up and go rent a space. I had to be real about where we are, where our home is, what are the requirements for our children, I got 2 car notes, I got a house, I got lights, I got heat. I can't feed my children DVDs and make them drink their tears. So I got to have money for all of these things, and I have to be real about where I am. So if I'm working right now, and if I'm the only one that's working and I'm making bleep dollars an hour, I can't go out and try to do more than where I really am. So that's the second thing. Be real about where it is. And then the third thing we had to learn to do is anything that's not necessary. The biggest myth that we've been allowed to believe is that we had to keep up with the Joneses. The biggest myth that we've been allowed to believe is because, and especially for those of us that grew up in church culture, just because she has a St. John knit and white diamond, everybody got to have a St. John knit and white diamond. Just because he has J's, everybody got to have J's. No. You can dress up whatever you need to dress up. You can be real. Did she sneak out? Our baby knows how to sneak out of the crib. Our baby, she knows how to. We don't got a newborn like y'all, like the Moors. We got to check every so often because she be like, right, hey. and she still got a crib and she climbed out of it. But there is no need to keep up with the people next to you. You don't need to keep up with your counterparts. Us as the Gaskins, it's not our job for us to keep up with the Moors. It's our job to understand that the Moors are in their own, they're running their own life and we're running ours.
Right.
And so there were times, and Cassandra can tell you, there were times when I was out there on the car lot salivating over my Cadillac. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a Cadillac man. I've had 3 of them and I want another one. But necessity said, you're going to drive that Ford and you're going to like it. You get what I'm saying? And so it becomes that reality. That's part of maturing too.
Yeah.
That's part of maturing too. But when time comes, but when you make those moves, then you have the money for necessary things. Like when Cassandra wants to go get her nails done, when she wants to go get her hair did. I don't do those things, so I say her. But me, when I go to the barbershop every week, that's an expense. So I have my hat on now because I ain't been yet this week. So when you make those sacrifices in those areas, then you can make those moves that you would call for the suspension of your life or the status quo of your livelihood.
And be realistic. I think we're realistic about our money because we, any couple that has children, anything can pop off at any time. I mean, adulting, anything can pop off at any time. But when you have children in the mix, you now need to worry about their needs and their necessities. And okay, do I have it? And so running a business, and we're in a really, really different position right now because we started a church and I started a business. So we're looking at like, Lord, hey, I need you to pull up. Like, so
pull up. Pull up, Lord.
To the bank account, please and thank you, sir.
Be so kind.
Right.
Just dwell all in my checking and savings.
Right.
Just do. Come on, God. Just do it.
Dust go through the room. I felt it.
That's so good. That's so good. Listen, if you are just tuning in, I am Dr. Aljoe here with Dig Deep Conversations with Christian Leaders. And tonight our topic is marriage and entrepreneurship. I'm here with the Gaskins and I am here with the Moores, and we are getting some fantastic nuggets. So the 3 tips from the Gaskins is no secret money. So, y'all talk with y'all financial people, you work out however you want to work out if you are married. I do agree. The advice that I've been given, I'm not married, but the advice that I've been given is you have your money and he has his money, and then you have a pot of the same money. But I'm thinking about that twice now after what you said, to sort of talk about no secret money. Be real about where you are and where you want to go. And then don't try and keep up with the Joneses. Keep up with your bank account. Okay. So I love that. When I thought about them, as I'm listening to you all talking about, not wanting to keep up with the Joneses, nothing wrong with the Joneses, but they have different money than we have. They're able to do things that we just aren't able to do. And that's okay.
Or they don't.
It's legal. Let's tell the truth. You don't know how the Joneses are getting what they got.
You don't know. You
don't like, be honest. You don't know.
Or they're just as stretched as you, but they're so trying to look like something they're not. You don't know.
Exactly.
You don't know.
They might be.
I ain't doing no wire fraud.
Listen. I just watched. Okay, so this Cadillac and Ford are also not sponsors of this here show. Neither is HBO Max. But there is a show that I watched that you all might be interested in. It's called Generation Hustle on HBO Max, and it's basically following all these people that do all types of money fraud and all this other stuff. So, anywho, I thought it was really good, very interesting. See, Gabriella, we don't need to be slinging, rocks and stuff like that. We need to be slaying and slaying.
Y'all. That's my niece.
Okay.
So
all right.
I'm sorry. Y'all pray for her.
Hey, it's the truth. It's the truth. We certainly do not know how people are getting their money. I just know how I get my money. So what I want to ask you all, as we're sort of wrapping up the conversation here, what I want to ask you all in the spirit of sort of not being in competition with other couples. The question is sort of doing it for the gram, doing it for Instagram, doing it for Facebook and for social media. What boundaries do you have in place regarding your relationship and social media? So I want to start with the Gaskins on that one first. What boundaries do you have in place regarding your relationship and social media?
That's a great question. I literally just got back on Instagram for my business because at one point I was on everything and it was too much. It was these marriages nowadays.
Hold on. I don't want to interrupt. What? I told you I felt a breeze, right? I just got a direct deposit. That's all I'm saying.
Stop it.
I'm not even joking. I'm not, and it's not my paycheck. It's not an expected deposit. Don't tell me.
Have everyone check it
don't tell me what my God can do. Okay, I'm sorry. You were talking about doing it for the gram. Go ahead.
You can't do nothing for the gram. As a married couple, you have to set those boundaries with social media, and we have a rule. The Gaskins, we have a rule.
Let them know the rule, babe.
The rule is,
because some of them still waiting.
The rule is, if you send one of us a friend request of the opposite sex, and you don't send the spouse a friend request in 24 hours, you do not get added. Oh. That's on everything.
I love it.
That's on everything. Because
yes,
unfortunately, you have a lot of people that will either 4,000. You have a lot of people that will, let's say they'll befriend him, that will be a woman or whatever, befriend him, but I'll never know who they are. So we have a lot of, he knows a lot of people. He knows a lot of people that I just don't know. And so we had to set that up, and vice versa. If there's somebody that he doesn't know, they got 24 hours. And if it's not on the same page, just don't get added. It keeps peace in your home. Number one, there's no questions. There's no, what's she doing? What he doing? None of that. Me and my husband are very transparent. So that was the rule that works for us. All right. I don't know her, but you know her. She got 24 hours.
Oh, and let me add this too and say, it doesn't mean like when we counsel other couples, we don't tell them to put these rules into effect. Your marriage is your marriage. We used to do, technically we still do it, Sunday Night Live with Cass and Ty. We ain't been doing it because I've been sleepy, but I'm just being honest. Sundays is a very busy day. We need to find another day. But Tuesday Night Live just didn't sound the same. We're working on that. But we are very open people naturally. Like we don't have a lot of reservations. So it's important that the boundaries that we set, we really stick with them. Because it's like we're high profile, not high profile. Don't say that like cocky. Sure. But just because we're in the church and stuff, there's a lot of people already looking at us. Yes. There's a lot of people already questioning. And I don't say that about us. All of us on this screen right now, we're consistently under the public radar. If Elder Moore and Sister Moore drive home separately from church, somebody done seen it, took a picture. Done started calling Evangelist Elder Beverly and said, "Do you know if anything's all right in their house?" Like it's that's how we live. So when we live in that kind of atmosphere, when you set rules or boundaries, you have to stick to those rules and boundaries. Period. So when Cassandra said we got to a certain point with the church, and Cassandra's like, "I want you to stop having these ministers meetings in my house." Okay. No more in the house. If it's a 5-minute meeting or a 5-hour meeting, we going down to the church. Because once boundaries have been set, we have to stick by it.
So true.
Love it. We had two. That was enough for me. That was enough. I said, we got to move it. We have to move it. Because my home is my sanctuary. Everyone's home is their sanctuary. And the same way that we have to protect our peace is the same way we have to protect our homes and the spirits that come in and out. And I just didn't want to do it. I feel like there are many people that start churches in their homes and do a lot of stuff out of their homes. I am not one of them. So if we have a space, that's where you're going. But creating boundaries all the way around, especially for social media. We're on social media enough to, for the foolery and the banter and all of that. Oh yeah, all day. But it's a facade at the end of the day. A lot of people do it and they're portraying these people and they're posting pictures and they don't even like each other. They're posting pictures and they're like, okay, this is what we didn't know. We don't do that. We rarely take pictures with each other. So I got to catch them on a good day. And most times.
That's because I don't take pictures. It ain't because I don't like to be in pictures with my wife. You left that real open-ended.
No, I was getting somewhere.
Yeah, she went back to Brooklyn, Tina.
Well, I heard it in her voice just a little. I said, oh.
A little bit. But as far as like my husband and I, when we take pictures, it's literally because, we don't take enough, number one. And I'm usually fussing at him 9 times out of 10 right before the picture. So anybody that's taking our picture, there's about 3 pictures of me yelling at him to get himself together. Get it together. Let's go. So, yeah. But, we don't do anything for social media. We stopped getting caught up in posting, anniversaries and birthdays and stuff, because why am I posting if I'm with you? I don't. So we really just took the focus off of that and really just focused on, if I'm with you and we're having an intimate moment, that the world doesn't need to see that.
Yeah.
The world doesn't need to know that you love me on my birthday. You better love me every day. That's how that goes.
Not
so
you better.
Yeah.
Let the Morris go. You got violence.
But we don't do anything. We don't do anything for social media like that. As far as my business goes, I really do try to devote, when I'm on any platform, it's for promotion only, and then I'm right back off, because again, we have other things to do than to, be on social media all day posting pictures of ourselves and anything else. So, yes.
I love this because I think it's so challenging with social media, because, you are a business owner, you are an entrepreneur, and, there's a certain element of social media that could sort of help with that business growth. Right. And so for some of us, myself included, I find that I would probably not be as active on social media if I didn't own my own business, if I wasn't, doing all this other stuff. But because I do that in order to expand the community, in order to expand with the audience, I find that I need to sort of be more active on social media. But really, it's just my business stuff. I had a conversation with Abram the other day, and he said, I was trying to find, I forget what you were trying to find, Abram. He said, all I saw was dig deep, dig deep, dig deep, dig deep, dig deep, dig. And I'm like, yeah, because, the life that I live, I'm trying to be very present and very in the moment. Even with my relationship, people will call my boyfriend and just be, hey, are y'all still together? Are y'all good? He's like, yeah, no, we good. We still together. We just don't post each other all the time. We don't find that.
None of y'all business.
Right.
Right.
That part is none of your business.
So let me hear from the Moors. Let's hear from the Moors. What are some boundaries that you have in place regarding your relationship and social media?
Yeah, so I think one thing that we mutually agree on is not airing your business out on social media. If you have an issue, you go to each other, talk it out. Not, can you believe my husband didn't get me ranch for my wings? And then the next day going on and saying, I love my baby. He buys me all the ranch.
Get the ranch.
We eat blue cheese in holiness.
So definitely a boundary. If there is an issue, go to each other, talk it out. Communication. That's what strengthens a marriage, not you talking to your followers and then the next day going and being a hypocrite and like completely trying to derail yourself from it. And now everybody hates your significant other because you're out there, spreading all this stuff about them. Your parents calling you like, I paid $20,000 for that wedding, and you can't remember to buy you ranch.
Listen,
It's the
And it better be Hidden Valley. No,
The kickback.
You better go get
now
that
I'm gonna slide
Great.
here. First of all, I want to go back on something our first lady Gaskin said. She got 24 hours. It's the way she got 24 hours. I was like,
24 hours.
I'm so sad.
I was counting. 9 o'clock. That's it.
As far as boundaries on social media, I am so
24.
with that. I am just okay. I'm trying not to like. No,
Let him use you, Elder.
no, it's just disgusting when it's just disgusting. It's a disgusting thing when you're in a relationship with someone, supposedly that you love them, and you would rather get advice from people who want to see you fail by posting your information on social media and hoping for some sort of comment or feedback or something to boost your ego when you need to go to that person and have a conversation about what's going on. Now, that's not what I was talking about when it came to boundaries, but you brought up a really good point because it happens far too much that we're letting, well, we don't, but people are letting other people into their marriage. And they're welcoming these random thoughts and spirits. And most of the time, they're jealous of you anyway because you got somebody and they don't.
Right.
Like, I just kind of like, be real. Like, can I be real, son? Be real, son. Give yourself a pat in the back. Like, it's so bad because I see it far, far, far too much of like, oh, it's Valentine's Day, and could you believe that so-and-so, that my husband didn't get me, my girlfriend and my wife didn't get me something? And this was like, that's right. You tell them, bae. And they're like, what? Like, shut up. Like, what are you talking about? The reason why maybe they didn't buy you anything is because you didn't tell them what you wanted. I don't know. Like, you're not talking to them. Like, anyway, back to boundaries for the gram. I just want to, because I just see it too much. And it's mostly on Facebook. That's why I'm not on Facebook, really. I'm on Instagram heavy. That's because I like making funny videos. If you look at my thing, I like making funny videos and posting pictures that I took and edited. And it's like a creative outlet for me. And that's what it is. My wife over here, she wanted to do couples vlogging at some point. I did not want to do that.
I was trying to get some sponsors.
Right? She needs her rent.
Right.
She needs that rent.
She needs that rent.
She tired of living a blue cheese life. Ranch. I'm with you, Monica. It's ranch for me. So
Me too.
Oh, it's blue cheese for me. Let's leave a comment in the comment section. Everybody, are you a ranch or a blue cheese person? Drop a comment in the comment section right now. Let's get some feedback. Are you a ranch or a blue cheese person? I am curious what the answer is, but no. You have to have boundaries for social media because you don't want to fall into it being fake. Like, posting a picture for the specific reason of, I have to put this on Instagram. It's not a fun thing. A lot of pictures we put on Instagram of us is stuff we take because we want to keep the memory. Like, we're at the beach with our kids. Like, this is a great memory. Oh, you know what? It's a nice photo. Let's post it. Like, but specifically going out to look like we're doing something and we're like not. It's just not our style.
I love that. I think we live in a world where social media and the image and the personal brand and all of these things are important. Look at, I comment on the live that you said.
Oh, we got one for ranch. Leave a comment. Let's get this comment rolling. Blue cheese or ranch?
Listen, it's ranch all day, every day. It's not even a competition. But I think we live in a time when personal branding and your social media image is so incredibly important and can be powerful to your business, right? It can be powerful to marketing your business and marketing yourself. But when you get to the point where you are, Abram, like you said, you're like staging photos while you're out, supposed to be sort of trying to make memories, and you're trying to get everybody together and have this sort of perfect look, like that takes away from living in the moment and being in the moment. So I really, no. It's ranch in heaven. Okay. Jesus told me so. All right. So I think that's incredibly important. I love these boundaries. I have one quick follow-up question for you, Cassandra. Now, what's the boundary around, or do you all have a boundary around sending friend requests? So we know that, like, if you get a friend request from a man, he has 24 hours to send a friend request to your husband. But what about sort of the opposite? If you happen to connect with somebody outside of service and you send out the friend request, is it that same boundary? Like, how does that work for you all?
Or accept one.
Yeah.
I want to. So usually, if a guy sends her a friend request, I will send him one.
Okay. Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Pull up.
And
yep.
I just want to point that out.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, but
she's asking about like just sending one,
Mm-hmm.
like not one coming in, but
I'm terrible. I don't send nobody nothing. I really don't. I don't. My husband, he makes fun of me a lot, but I don't like people like that. And he knows it. So most times when I'm getting it's y'all sending it to me. I'm not, oh, hey, no, because I don't want to be bothered sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's it. No, I'm not clicking. I
love it. I just was curious. I don't think, for me and my relationship, again, we were very upfront with each other in the beginning. We're not the type to constantly be posting each other. And again, that's perfectly fine if that's what you do. But also, I tend to reach out to him and just be like, hey, so-and-so sent me a friend request. Like, I see that you're a mutual friend. Like, how do you know them? And I haven't met them, but like, if this like your auntie, your cousin, okay, cool, I'll accept the friend request.
Regularly screenshot. Who this?
Right.
That's how that conversation goes.
Right, literally.
Who this?
Correct. Like, who is this? Should I accept? Should I not? And sometimes he'll tell me, nah, they just trying to be nosy, delete the request, or I'll just leave it indefinitely. So if you have not gotten an accepted friend request from me, most likely it is on purpose. So do we have time for one final question, y'all? Because this has been a really great conversation. I don't know if you all have been catching all these nuggets, these boulders really of just great wisdom from our guest on tonight, talking about marriage and entrepreneurship. But if we have time for one final question, when we talked about, Abram, you mentioned about going to social media for, an ego boost, right? It's the reality of social media. You post something up there, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as something that you yourself have created, and people are commenting on it, people are liking it. It gives you, some joy, right? You take joy in the fact that I've created something and it's being well received. Mm-hmm. Let's look at the flip side of that, where what you're creating, what you're putting out there is not being well received. And I want to specifically ask Monica and Tyron, I don't know why I said your name like that, but I want to specifically ask you all, how do you speak life into your partner in those moments where it's just nothing is working right? The phone's not ringing off the hook. The vision isn't working like how I thought it would. How do you speak life into your partners in those entrepreneurship moments when, the people just aren't there, the likes aren't there? Monica, let's start with you.
So I'm gonna contradict myself because I told you all to delete DoorDash, but Abram is a big foodie. Like, honestly, I think food is his love language. So let's say that he has a big win, gets a new client. We're going out, we're celebrating with dinner. Ooh. Let's say that there's a moment, something goes, a low moment. DoorDash it is. It's still going out and getting dinner. So it sounds funny, but I know that that's what's gonna pick him up and cheer him up, and that's a thing that's like a quick pickup. It's not going to be like a long lasting thing. But if I want to focus on something more sentimental, it would just be encouraging him and reminding him of how far he's come, just being in this whole journey of entrepreneurship. And I think it took me a while to really get there and to really understand that, this is going to be something that one day that's going to blow up for us. And I remind him, sometimes we get like, the Facebook memories, like a few years back, Dr. Aljoe, you were there when he was doing $30 headshots.
Yeah.
And the memory popped up and I was like, remember when you were charging $30 for a headshot? And these memories can sporadically
So
come
cheap.
up in those moments of when he might be feeling a little low. Y'all should have jumped on the bandwagon when those
I
headshots were
was gonna
$30.
say,
It's
Sean
not-
don't
it's
charge
not-
that now. Let me tell you.
anymore.
I love working with Abram, and he certainly is well worth and more the money that the investment that I have given. But Monica's absolutely right. Y'all should have jumped on the bandwagon because ciao.
Yeah, so encouraging him with DoorDash or just going out some food, just a quick pick me up. But then in the long term, just reminding him where he's come from. Because sometimes we can lose sight of that when we're in the moment and things were going so well. It's like we forgot like where we came from, where we were just like a year ago. So just being there to really support him and remind him he's come far.
Right. We've done this all my days. Look at that. All right, Pastor Gaskins, let's go to you. How do you lift up and speak life into your wife and those moments of entrepreneurship, those moments of being a business owner where you're just like, why am I even doing this? How do you speak life into her?
Buy her Pepsi. No, no seriousness.
Pepsi is also not a sponsor. There are so many non-sponsors today.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We're not.
No, it's okay.
No, Monica hit the nail on the head.
Mm.
The name of the game is support. Support. There are so many different versions. I become her biggest cheerleader, period. Like, and this is the thing. Nobody else has to understand it, right? Because it's us. So I'll look at people and I'll look at other people that, she'll look at. There was a situation, perfect example. There was, and I will not say any names, but there was a situation where she had done this flyer and the flyer was gorgeous. The person that had her do the flyer, I guess, didn't want to pay her what she asked. So they had somebody else do the flyer. The flyer did not look as good as when she did it. And I don't say that because I'm her husband. I say it because I have eyes. It didn't look as good. She was upset she lost the client. I'm like, but did you though?
And wasted time.
And I'm like, but did you though? Because look at this. Like, you don't want your name attached to this. You know what I mean? And that's the behind the scenes stuff that, like I said, nobody needs to see. But that's between us. I'm her biggest support system. So I've had people, even with different things that we're doing with the church, they reach out to me. We want to do such and such for you. We want to design this for you. One guy messaged me and he was like, "Hey, preacher, I want to do your seal." Nah, my wife is doing my seal. I got somebody already who, and it doesn't have to look like yours. My wife did it. It's the greatest one, period. I'm gonna print it. I'm gonna put it on and I wear it on my chest, on the vest and all that stuff, because it's about that support. It's about being that consistent voice in what to do when the likes aren't there. That's okay. Don't let the likes be there. Let the love be there. As long as the love is there from me, I don't care if you like it.
Right.
Or she won't care if you like it, because I love it. And I'm going to support it. I'm going to push it. And that's really what it's about.
Right. I love it. Don't care about whether or not the likes are there. It's the consistent speaking well of the person that God has given you to be a life partner, the person that God has given you to build with. It's that constantly speaking well and making sure that even if nobody else tells you that you're good, or nobody else, sends the likes or whatever the case may be, that your partner, your husband, your wife, they are absolutely there cheering you on and supporting you 110%. Listen, tonight's conversation has been so incredibly helpful. Thank you again to the Moores and the Gaskins for joining us on tonight. Wow, so many great nuggets. If you did not catch us live, you can always watch the replay on Facebook. You can also check it out Check out the previous episodes of Dig Deep Conversations with Christian Leaders, now available wherever you stream your podcast. So we are growing, we are expanding. God is doing some awesome, thank you so much.
Amen.
Doing some awesome and great things. Listen, shout out to you all in the comment section, holding it down, except for everybody that chose blue cheese.
I was actually going to ask, do we have a tally of those? Because I can't see them coming in.
It doesn't matter. The only thing that's right is blue.
I'm gonna say ranch, and it's my show, so when I say those,
That's true.
No, tonight has been absolutely great. So if I could just get really quickly from each of you all, what's the one thing that you hope our guests take? Yes, Portia, I get all the ranches. I go to McDonald's. They're not a sponsor. I go to McDonald's and I get French fries and I ask for like 3 ranches. Like, yes, it's a serious problem. And don't get me started on whose ranch is better. Okay, anyways. So I'm going to ask every person that's on tonight, what's one thing that you hope that our viewers and listeners have taken away? Let me start with the Moores. We're going to start with Abram and then Monica. Oh, sorry. Do you want me to start with Monica?
Yes. I did have an answer. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Monica.
Let's see. One thing that I hope the followers take away. This is going to sound so cliche, but just with all of this and supporting Abram on his entrepreneurial journey, it's helped me discover myself and what my hopes and dreams are. And at the end of the day, what makes me happy, which is my children and supporting my husband. So with all of this conversation, and whether you're single or in your relationship, I want you to ask yourself the question of the person that you're going to be with. Can you be your true, genuine self around them? Mm-hmm. And if you are married, ask yourself, am I being my genuine self to my spouse? Am I communicating with them? And I think that that's really going to make a huge difference when you could be your true, authentic self. So that's my answer.
I love it. That's so good. That's so good. Abram, what you got? What's the one takeaway?
I am going to, not because I didn't have an answer originally, I am going to piggyback off that a little bit and elaborate more. When I began this journey and things started happening, kind of like going well, what I did, we talked about this a while ago, this conversation, was I'm an entrepreneur and it was going great for me. And I'm of the mindset that women are totally capable and powerful of they can be entrepreneurs and bosses too. So I was like, you can be a boss, you can start your own thing, and I can start a thing. And then I found myself sort of pushing my sort of like entrepreneur-like spirit onto her. And it was actually wrong because it was me trying to say, I can do it, you can do it. And I found myself thinking I was being motivating, but actually that's genuinely not what she wanted. This is what she said she wanted to do, is finding her true self. And my biggest takeaway is when you're married, you become one. But right now with us and the Gaskins, in both these situations, one's an entrepreneur and one isn't. Just because you're one doesn't mean you have to be doing the same thing.
Right.
And that is what I hope people take away.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Thank you. Let's go to the Gaskins. What's the one thing that you would hope that the listeners and the viewers would take away? Who wants to go first?
It's work, but it's fun. And it is for me, it is the true definition of submission. It's not.
I was legit gonna say that.
You was gonna say that. But for me, that's what it is. It's and I teach this all the time. Dr. Celeste Johnson out of Hartford, she taught me this. Oh my goodness, at least 11 years ago, because we had just gotten married. And she sat us down and she said the true definition of submission is just to get under the mission of the person you're with. It's to support and push their mission. It's not going to get them a sandwich. It's not going to get them something to drink.
Mhm.
It's enabling them to do what it is they've set their heart on. And when it comes your turn, they're gonna do everything they can do to help you. And I have found those words to be true. It is true submission. It's just, it's, I tell the story all the time. When I came home and I said, all right, Sa, the Lord said we're starting the church. She said, okay, let's start making calls. Let's figure this out. Let's figure this out with Secretary of State and get these bylaws written. Like, she didn't question. And when she turned around and said, I want to start this business, I want to start this marketing business. Okay. I went to Best Buy, bought her a MacBook, got her whatever. I asked no questions because it's fun. It's fun because you see them shine. You see her proud. As a husband, I get pride, from seeing her proud of the work that she's produced. And so when she's seeing things, and now God has blessed her, she has done media for, national homegoings and different live stream events. And it makes me smile when she can look on YouTube and look up different videos and they're her graphics. Sitting there. And they're sitting there with thousands of views. And she sits there and she's beaming with pride. And now I'm full of pride because I'm like, that's my girl. So it's work, but it's fun.
I love that.
Yeah. That's literally, like, he literally took it right out of my mouth. I was gonna say submission and supporting the mission. That's one thing that you can take away from marriage and entrepreneurship is supporting the mission, supporting everything and anything that your spouse really sets their heart to do. He talked about the church, but there was at one point when my husband was going to dental school, and when he decided that he wanted to go into dentistry, I said, okay, well, how are we gonna get there? He needed a car. I bought a car. He took the car, went to school every day. I helped him study. I bought him pencils, papers, all of this stuff to help him pass these tests. So the biggest thing to take away from it is just supporting the mission, really getting up under your spouse and pushing them to get to their dream and get to their goals and hitting their goals. And now, 14 years later, he is in dentistry.
Yeah. I was going to say that job, that schooling,
catapulted something else.
That schooling got me a career.
Yeah.
That career was able to turn around and get you the MacBook and get you the tools and the instruments and blah, blah, blah. So it literally just.
I love it.
So that support the mission.
I love it. I love it. Supporting the mission, not only just for entrepreneurship, but also your mission for marriage. Thank you all so very much for tuning in, for hanging out on tonight with our new series, Marriage and Entrepreneurship. I hope to see you all on Wednesday, March 23rd. We have the Andrews and the Banks, another awesome conversation with married couples that have been doing entrepreneurship and doing marriage for some time. And we are going to learn and grow and dig deep with them. Thank you so very much, y'all. If you had an awesome time on tonight, continue hitting those comments, continue to hit the like button, make sure you share with all of your friends and followers. And I will see you all on Wednesday, the 23rd. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.